Hey friend, my name is Alicia Greathouse and I am the founder of the Masterpiece Society, and I am so glad that you are joining me here today because I want to talk about how to cultivate creativity in your kids and teens. So I am a veteran homeschooling mom. We homeschooled for 19 years, and through those years we always stuck with the Charlotte Mason method. And one of my favorite quotes from Charlotte is, "There are few subjects regarded with more respect and less confidence in our schools than this of art." Of course, we say children should have their artistic powers cultivated, but how is the question. And so in this video, I am going to give you 5 simple ways to cultivate the artistic powers, as Charlotte Mason called them, but what I'm calling them is just cultivate the creativity in your kids and teens. One of my favorite Picasso quotes is that every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. Have you ever noticed that in a room full of little kids, they have no problem whatsoever with expressing their inner artist? They absolutely know that they are awesome, and they have no qualms with showing you their amazing work. But then as they get a little bit older, they begin to compare themselves with each other, and they might begin to believe that maybe they're not as artsy as they once thought. And then somewhere in there, they become self-conscious and they worry that their work isn't good enough. And eventually, if we moms, parents don't intervene and encourage them, they will grow up to be adults who think they don't have a creative bone in their body. And I'm going to actually do a whole video on that one because that is one of the sayings that bugs me the most, because creativity doesn't come from your bones anyway. But I'll save that for a later date. Anyway, if we don't cultivate creativity in our kids, they will forget that they come from the Creator, as Maya Angelou says, trailing wisps of His glory. And so anyway, why is it important that kids and teens are given the opportunity to create on a regular basis, even throughout their lives? Because I'm going to read you, and I have gone over this in several of my videos, but I have 20 benefits that I want to read to you really quick. Research has shown that art allows kids and teens to explore their feelings, process their emotions, reconcile conflict, become more self-aware, manage and improve behavior, further develop their artistic skills, increase self-esteem, build self-confidence, reduce stress and anxiety, express the creativity that is within them, express what they can't verbalize with words, improve their sense of well-being, improve academic performance, learn to think outside the box, achieve personal insight, develop a sense of innovation and resourcefulness, learn about and hopefully begin to understand different people, different cultures, decompress from life, manage depression, and receive tremendous pleasure. So as you can see, there are a lot of benefits, and I didn't go into these, but if you want to dig a little bit deeper, you can go back to the series on Art is Healing, or the healing power of art, and listen to that. But I want to encourage you to become proactive in cultivating your kids' and teens' creativity. And also, I want to encourage you to create with your kids too. You'll find it is so fulfilling, and not only will you be making beautiful keepsakes for years to come, you'll also be making beautiful memories that will last a lifetime. So gone are the days of putting off art week after week, because now I hope that you are starting to see that the simple act of creating something will actually help your children improve in other areas of life. Art is more than an extracurricular activity. Art is life-enhancing and life-changing. So I'm going to give you 5 simple ways to cultivate the creativity in your kids and teens. And the first one is to simply encourage their creativity. So imago Dei. Remind them that they are created in the image of God, that they are created in the image of the ultimate artist. I jokingly said earlier that creativity doesn't come from our bones, and that's true, but creativity is in our DNA. We are made in the image of God, and therefore there is a spark of His creativity within each of us. And whether you realize it or not, whether you've developed it or not, you are creative, and each one of your children is creative. Yes, there are some who seem to be born with more of a bent towards the artsy, but art is still also a skill that you can learn. If you can learn to write, you can learn to draw. If you can learn an instrument, you can learn to paint. Any skill requires a learning curve and, of course, practice. So encourage your kids to use their God-given creativity and remind them on a regular basis that they are made in the image of God. They are creative, artistic, imaginative, and unique. And a couple of years ago, I created this little PDF. It's a list of creative affirmations for kids and teens, and I will put a link to this where you can just download it for free. It'll be in the comments below this video. But I encourage you, if you have some kids that love to create, or maybe they don't feel like they're creative at all, then download this and have them speak these affirmations over themselves each day. So number 2 is invest in their creativity. Provide them with a variety of art supplies so that they can explore and experiment with different art mediums. Don't limit them to only 1 or 2 mediums. Provide them a variety of supplies: acrylics, watercolors, markers, gel pens, charcoal pencils, oil pastels. Not every kid is going to love chalk pastels or crayons. And if you want your kids to develop their inner artist, then allow them to experiment with various types of media. And please invest in quality art supplies. Charlotte Mason also said, boxes of cheap colors are to be avoided. Children are worthy of the best. And I wholeheartedly agree. I do have a video called How to Get Started with Homeschool Art, and I believe it's video number 2, in which I go through supplies. I show you good, better, and best. If you only have a $25 budget, I will show you some good supplies. $50, I'll show you better. And then if you have a little bit more to spend than that, I'll show you some of the best art supplies for you to invest in for your kids. If you're always buying from the bargain or the value paints, your kids won't be able to produce the greatest results. You don't have to buy professional artist paints, but just look for student grade. Spring an extra $5 or $10 for a better quality set. So number 3 is facilitate their creativity. And the way you do this is, number 1, you need to establish a certain time each week or each month, whatever works best for your family, to allow your kids to create. A lot of the members of our Masterpiece Society studio have what they call a Fine Arts Friday. And not only do they have it on their schedule, they have a designated area where they keep their supplies, and they have all of them accessible to their kids. So keep the supplies in a special cart or in a cabinet or drawer, but make them accessible. Also, if you will go back to that How to Get Started with Homeschool Art, we talk about storage and how to store supplies in it as well. So number 4 is liberate their creativity. Give them the freedom to explore and experiment. Henri Matisse said, creativity takes courage. And artist Julia Cameron said, creativity flourishes when we have a sense of safety and self-acceptance. So by giving your kid this freedom to express his or her creative side while offering them a soft place to land without fear of judgment or criticism, you are adding value to them, and you're giving them confidence to grow into their own unique person. Even our beloved Charlotte Mason said the art training of children should proceed on 2 lines. The child should begin both to express himself and to appreciate art, and his appreciation should be well in advance of his powers to express what he sees or imagines. So basically, they need freedom to express themselves creatively, and they need to come in contact with the great master works from the great master artists so that they can begin to appreciate art, which brings me to my 5th and final point, inspire their creativity. Study the great master artists. How can your child even begin to appreciate art if he or she has never experienced or been exposed to the greatest works of all times? Charlotte Mason also said, "We cannot measure the influence that one or another artist has upon the child's sense of beauty, upon his power of seeing, as in a picture, the common sights of life. He is enriched more than we know in having really looked at even a single picture." It is so important for us to allow our children to come in contact with beautiful art pieces. Art brings a sense of beauty to our lives, and it helps us to really see, and it greatly enriches our lives. As we study under the great masters of art and learn about their lives and learn about their creative process and learn the whys behind their paintings or their sculptures, as we allow our kids to experiment at incorporating some of their styles and techniques into their own art pieces, then their artistic abilities will improve. So the more you allow your kids to study the great master artists, the more you'll find that many of them were free thinkers who changed the world of art. This should give your kid or teen encouragement and freedom in his or her own creativity. It should instill in them a courage to pull from everything around them that inspires them to incorporate into their art. Now, I'm going to actually do a complete video on how to bring your art studies alive by studying under the master artists. So I'm going to do that next, but just for right now, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to further study the master artists. So the first one is museums. Visit your local art museum and visit museums in different cities when you travel. Our family loves this. We have visited art museums all over the United States, throughout England and France. So that's something we love, but absolutely nothing will compare to coming in contact with the great masterpieces in real life. So the second way to explore and learn under the great masters is just the internet. I mean, you literally have thousands, if not millions, of art pieces at your fingertips. You've got Wikipedia, you've got YouTube, you've got virtual museums. I will caution you to make sure that you censor websites and not just allow your kids to go on these websites without knowing what is on there. Last year, we created a brand new website. It's our sister site called Masterpiece Curations, and it is family friendly for homeschoolers. It's got art history and art appreciation and a whole bunch of printables and downloadables that you can print out, and I will link that in the comments below because I would love for you to go over there and check it out and download some of that material for your art studies. So there's museums, there's the internet, and then there are books, biographies on the great masters, including their methods and techniques, as well as the big coffee table books that contain the big, beautifully photographed images of their art. Those are priceless to have in your home and allow your kids to look at the art pieces up close and personal. And then there are podcasts. Olivia, my daughter, and I created an art history podcast a few years back called Masterpiece Makers. It's kind of on hold. We got up to Vincent van Gogh, and then life took over, and we will pick it up. I've had so many people email in and say, "Hey, we want more podcast episodes." I promise you we will. But for now, check it out. I think we've got about 25 or 26 episodes on some of the great master artists, and we take you on an artsy tour through the centuries. And you get to know the master artists and their famous works, and sometimes we poke fun at them and maybe poke fun at their work. We just like to have a little bit of fun. And then there are art courses. The Masterpiece Society has a lot of different art courses where you can study under the great masters. We've got Mixing with the Masters Volumes 1 and 2, where I think we have about 12 of the most famous ones where we recreate 3 of their famous pieces. Then I have a whole series on Art School, Drawing 101, Watercolors 101, Acrylics and Oils 101, and Pastels 101, where we learn the classical techniques of the master artists. And We will recreate some of their paintings or their drawings. And then my daughter Olivia has created art escapades where she takes a famous art piece and then puts her own creative spin and encourages the teens to do the same for their pieces. I mean, not only do you get to learn about the master artist, you get to test out and try and experiment with some of their techniques, such as impasto or tache or alla prima, chiaroscura, pointillism, all those fun things. So if you're looking for some really in-depth art courses that will help your kids get to know the master artists and their techniques, I will link those in the description box below as well. So I encourage you to begin cultivating the artist in each of your kids. Download these creative affirmations and make a point to learn together, create together. And let me just summarize the 5 tips. One is encourage their creativity by reminding them that they are made in the image of God, the ultimate creator, and that they are creative, artistic, and imaginative and unique. Number 2, invest in their creativity by providing them with a variety of mediums, acrylics, watercolors, oil pastels, etc., and spring for the extra $5 or $10 for the quality art supplies. Number 3 is facilitate their creativity by establishing a regular day for art and making sure that their art supplies are always easily accessible. Number 4, liberate their creativity by allowing them the freedom to express themselves artistically without fear of judgment or criticism. And number 5 is inspire their creativity by studying the great master artists. Visit the museums. Check out our podcast. Check out other podcasts on art history. Check out some of our art courses. Go through the internet. Don't forget to visit masterpiececurations.com. And just study the techniques, study their lives, study their techniques, study the whys behind what the master artist created. Art expression, art history, art appreciation should never be boring. If you follow these simple tips, then I guarantee you that you will be well on your way in cultivating the creativity within your kids and teens.